my young horse. He's about 4 years old. He's a thoroughbred, and I've only had him for around about 4 months. He's had about sort of 10-15 hours with me, and pretty much I've done something with him once a week since he's been with me. He's still pretty green, and he's still pretty new to it. He hasn't really he's just learning the natural horsemanship games and just learning the routine of life really. So, first thing we need to know when we're actually around horses, Ollie is very friendly, as some of you have already discovered. And so, Ollie trusts me as a friend. He doesn't see me as a predator, and horses generally in the wild see us as predators. They see us as things that are going to eat them, kill them, and have them for lunch, dinner, breakfast, morning or afternoon tea. So the first thing we need to do is we need to let the horse know that whatever we're doing around them, they're going to stay safe. They're not going to die from it, and they're going to live through the experience. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a couple of things with this stick and string. Now the reason I use this halter here is traditionally you will see halters on horses that are a lot thicker, and the reason I use this thinner rope one is because all the knots actually sit on natural pressure points on the horse's face. It's a lot thinner, so the horse can feel what I'm asking a bit more. So it's a lot easier for them to understand what I'm doing and what I'm asking them to do. Also, I have the other tools I have with me, this lead rope, and it's a little, you might notice it's a little bit different to the normal traditional ropes that you see. The reason I like using this one is because it gives you quite a bit more distance. If your horse is bucking, rearing, or doing anything like that, then you don't necessarily want your horse to be near you, because that's when you get injured, that's when accidents can happen. So with this length of the rope, I can get my horse right away from me, and I can get my horse in its own space, but I'm not going to get hurt if it wants to go what we call right brain. I've also got a thing called a carrot stick and string here. Now the carrot string just acts as an extra long arm. The horse doesn't know that my arm is not the carrot stick. Okay? And the string again just gives me that extra length in my arm as well. So, first thing I'm going to do is get Ollie used to things going in front of me, in front of him. And I want to put myself between the object that possibly he might be scared of or worried about and him. So that he learns to follow, he learns to trust, and he learns that sticking near me is actually quite a safe place to be. So I'll just do that. Now, if you have a look at him, he might start off with his body really tense and tight, head up, and a really worried sort of look in his body, look in his eye, and look in his face. And have a look and see what changes you can notice as we're doing this. Okay? So we're just going to walk around, and I'm just going to move this stick and string a bit and see if Ollie can follow me without me necessarily holding onto the rope and pulling him along. Now when a horse relaxes, there are several things you'll notice. First thing is that the horse will actually have his head low. Also, a horse basically will not be pulling on the rope or pulling back on the rope. And generally they might be blinking a lot, which is a sign that they're thinking. Licking and chewing with their mouth, which is another thought pattern, and just thinking through what you're asking them to do. And generally when you look at them, they should be nice and relaxed. They should just be cruising and with you, and literally with you. We're going to do that the other way as well, because the reason for that is the horse doesn't see the same thing out of each eye. So the horse actually sees different things and needs to trust both sides at the same time. The whole kind of idea that you get on from one side is literally just a human thing. In the old days, when they were riding into war and were riding into cavalry and things like that, they always had their sword on the right hip. So the only reason, traditionally, that we're told to mount from the right side is so that the knights and the soldiers wouldn't stab themselves in the leg as they got on. But from a horse's point of view, it actually doesn't make any difference at all which side you get on. So that's a bit of a myth, that one there. So now we can see Ollie's pretty happy with me doing that stick around. And so I'm going to grab another thing now, another what they call play toy. And you can make play toys up out of all sorts of stuff. As you can see, I've just got an old chaff sack here, and all I've done is I've filled it with a duvet. And so you can make them really cheaply and really, really easily. Another one is just getting some stones and putting them in an old plastic milk bottle. Is another really easy play toy to make. And as you can see, I'm still not holding on to Ollie at all really, and he can pull that rope out of my hand really, really easily if he wants to. So we'll just do half a circle the other way, and then we'll do the next bit. And often you'll find that Ollie sometimes bites it and plays with it as I'm dragging it along. He's quite a fun guy, this one. Very playful character. Okay, so now that we've got that all sorted and Ollie is trusting in me that it's actually a good thing to be near me and that he's feeling okay and all of that side of it, we're now going to get the scary thing and do a couple of things around him and beside him. So, first off, I'm going to get the rope and just swing it to the side. Now horses naturally when they're worried will want to move their feet, and sometimes if you actually shut a horse down and stop them moving their feet, they can get even more panicked about whatever you're trying to get them to do. So sometimes it's actually quite a good thing just to let them move their feet, so long as you're in control of where they're putting those feet. And as we can see, he's pretty happy with that. He's still inquisitive. He's still kind of looking and thinking, oh, I wonder what's going on here. But the head is down, his feet are still. He's blinking a lot, but he's pretty relaxed throughout his body. Okay? Now, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get legs. Now, horses do two things with their legs. First thing they do is they run from danger. The second thing they do is defend themselves. By kicking, biting, rearing, all sorts of things which you might well have seen on movies, or if you've got your own horse or friends that ride, you may have seen that there too. And we want to know that whether we're wanting the horse to walk through water, whether we're wanting to walk the horse through streams, over lots of different surfaces, that they're going to be okay with things touching their feet and touching their legs. Put your hands up. Who's seen plastic bags?
Can't believe there's like all these people to play with.
Cool. So, often a plastic bag can be a really scary thing for a horse. So, we want to know that when we're sitting on our horse or around our horse, if anything goes under their tummy, flies over their back, that they're not going to be worried or scared by it. So, for all intents and purposes in the wild, when the horse actually has something touching their legs, normally it's going to kill them. So we want them to know that this road is a safe thing. They're still going to be alive, they're still just going to survive the whole thing if they actually, just stand still and relax and don't get too worried about it. The next thing I'm going to do is pop it over the horse's back. Now, the reason we want to put it over their back is because often we're wanting to get on their back, pretty at some point. In South Africa, or in some countries, there are big cats that live in trees, like pumas and jaguars and things like that. And sometimes what will happen is the horse we'll get these big cats leaping onto their back from the trees, and the cat might dig their claws in, and they might take a big bite out of their neck, which of course is going to lead to the horse dying. So we want them to know that when we get on there, we're not a big cat that's just about to take a great big bite out of their body. We're actually going to, again, we're going to be safe. They're not going to need to get too worried about it all. If your horse cannot cope with a rope, with something like this going over their back, it is very dangerous to get on. Because if they can't cope with a light thing like this on their back, there's no way they're going to be able to cope with your weight, okay, or you on their back. The other thing is horses cannot see above them. They've really got to trust that we're actually doing the right thing, and again, they're going to live through it all. It's quite a scary thing for a horse to have somebody on their back, and it doesn't normally happen in the wild, so we've got to just make it the best possible experience for them that we can. Now, when horses don't do the same thing out of each eye. So when I do one side, I need to ideally do the other side. Sometimes you'll find that a horse might be really, really trusting, stand really, really still on the left or the right side. You go on to the other one, and it's a completely different horse. That you get a horse that might bump, rear, push into your space, not be able to keep their foot still, and everything like that. So always moving is, which is fine. But I'm just going to keep my rhythm going, keep a constant rhythm, and that will give him the chance to work out that it's actually not really scary. There we go. Feed him, which is really at the horse and everything like that. With me, doing the things around him that I'm doing. And it generally doesn't take them too long to pick up on this stuff. A lot of it is all about the human actually just noticing what their body's doing, and really just, reading the horse and knowing what they're saying, and when you can push it and when you can't. Good one. So the next thing I'm going to do is pop this rope over his head, because sometimes he might want to ride under branches, sometimes there might be aeroplanes going overhead, helicopters going overhead, anything like that. So again, when we're on board, we need the horse to know that it's actually a good thing, they're going to survive, and that generally it's going to be not going to harm them. There we go, we've got the dropping of the head a little bit, and big licks and chews. And again, licking and chewing means he's thinking, he's relaxed, and he's generally feeling pretty okay about the whole situation. Nice work, Ollie. Good job, mate. Good job. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, now that we've got the safety and the comfort side of it worked out, we're going to actually play a little bit with them. Now, on a horse's hit list, if you like, priority list, first one is safety, second thing is comfort, third thing is play, and the last thing is they worry about eating. So now we're going to move on to the playing side of things. And the way horses show dominance to each other is by who can move each other's feet the most. So if you're the most dominant one, you can move everybody else's feet whenever you want to. And I want to be the boss, okay, between me and my horse. I need to be in control, and I need to be in charge. We still make decisions together, but at the end of the day, I, need to protect my safety and look after my horse at the same time. So first off, I'm going to touch him. Now this is called the porcupine game, and it's got a bit of a weird name, I know. I don't know how it's got that name, but anyway. And I'm going to touch him. First thing I'm going to do is ask my horse to go backwards. And I'm just going to do it by literally lightly touching on his nose. And let's see if he will go back for us. And I'm going to see if I can get in time with his feet. We'll just avoid that tree stump there. And I'm hardly really putting any pressure on his nose whatsoever. When I want my horse to stop, I'm going to relax, breathe out, and he's done the right thing. So I need to reward the right thing so that he'll look for it the next time. Okay? There we go. Is that looking at you again? See if he follows me when I walk backwards. And that head is getting lower and lower. Now, over to the next bit. You can all take part in this one. So, how about everybody stands up? Okay. And cross your legs over. Alright. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to have a go at walking in a straight line, putting this, using your back leg, if you like, first. So, have a go. Walk in a straight line, using the leg behind you to take your first step. Now you hopefully will find that you're pretty stuck. You can't really move very far in a hurry. Now, this is exactly what I'm going to ask my horse to do, okay? I'm going to ask him to cross his legs, front and back, not at the same time. That's a bit tricky for him, really. Physically, it's impossible. And I'm going to ask him to cross his feet over, okay? As I say, he's done this quite a bit now, but he's not exactly experienced. So I'm just going to put my hand on the side of his halter, and I'm just going to push basically on the side of his face. And ask him to go around in a bit of a sort of a circle there. That's pretty good. Good job. Well done. And again, I want to reassure him, he's only young and he's kind of still newish at all this stuff. So I want to let him know that it's a good thing when he follows what I want him to do. Now, try the other side. And this time we're going to make it a little bit tricky. We're going to put a bit of a twist to it. This time I'm going to ask him to step behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, in front. Yeah, good boy. So, I'm actually controlling where he's putting his feet. And that generally makes me the leader of the herd. Now, next thing we're going to do is we need to move the back end. Now, if you have, you can get control of the horse by pointing the back end where you want it to go. If you haven't got control of the back end, generally you haven't got control of the horse. Okay? So we'll give it a go with the back end. So again, first off, I want to give my horse a bit of a rub. Okay? Give him a really nice rub on the bum, because I want him to be able to stand while I'm here. The worst thing is, and some of you may have been in this situation, where you have a horse, you're going to get on and the horse is constantly moving. It just can't stand still. So, I want to not teach Ollie to do that. I'm just going to take my time and I'm just going to rub. There you go. There's a big sign. That's a change. That's a sign that the horse is thinking and the horse is relaxed. Good. I'm just going to let him move his feet if he needs to. But he's just... And I'll let him do that as much as he needs to. I'm not asking for anything yet because I want him to be secure and just standing there. Now I'm going to ask. So I'm just literally putting my hand gently on his tummy and asking him to move the back leg nearest me, front of the outside, the one on the outside. And if he can do that, I know that I have control of the hind end. There you go. And generally, you'll do that on both sides because you want to try and get your horse as even as possible. You want to actually try and, all horses will have a preferred side, like humans, we're left or right-handed. But yeah, you want to try and make them as even as possible. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to not touch him. I'm going to do the same things and I'm not going to touch him. I'm going to do, basically ask my horse using pretty much my body, my focus in my body. Because when we're going to I'm going to use Bash, my older horse, just over there, and I'm not going to ride with anything on his head. So Bash has to rely entirely on my body and my focus to tell him what to do and where to go. And that all starts from on the ground, and what I'm doing with Ollie right now. Okay? So, first off, I need to rub. Because I want my horse again to know that it's a good thing to be near me, and just to chill. Then I'm going to change my body position. I'm going to stand up nice and tall, and I'm just going to let him know that there's another instruction coming. Then I'm going to put some movement, rhythmical movement in my hand, and ask my horse to go back. And he's doing that pretty well. When I want him to stop, I'm going to relax with my body, bring my hand down, and that's the cue for him to stop moving his feet. Okay? And he's resting a bit of a leg there, that's great. That's another sign that the horse is relaxed, that they're just not too worried about it, and they're just actually, just happy with what's going on. So, I'm going to just do it once more, and then we're going to try and cross his legs over. And as I say, I've probably only done 15 hours with this horse so far. And he's doing pretty well, really. Pretty well. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to not touch him. And I'm going to get him to cross his front legs over. Okay? So I'm just going to stick with it. There we go. That's a stick. And then finish with a rub again. You might notice that really trying to get him to listen to my breath. And it's all about just one wasn't built in a day, and you don't build a wall by putting all the bricks up there at the same time. It's all about little steps one at a time. Wait. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask him forward and ask him to get into position for the hind end. So I'm just going to grab, and he's thinking, oh my god, what's that rope on the ground? It's alright, you just stick with it. So I'm just going to stick with him, make sure my body language is nice and relaxed, give him a rub on the bum, step away, find all my body energy and my focus to his hip, and again, ask him to put that back leg press it inside of the one that's furthest away. We'll just move his head side a bit. And we'll have a go on the side. So again, if your horse is moving their feet, just keep rubbing. That's the best thing you can do for them. Point all my energy at his hip and ask him to cross his back end. And all I do is I stick with him, wait until he takes a step over, and then I'm going to... I haven't quite done it yet. There we go. There was the try. With him, he's still a little bit at the learning stage, so I want to encourage him to learn, and that's why I just let him move his feet and kind of basically stuck with it until he actually got what I wanted him to do. Now, as well as going backwards from the nose, we can also go backwards by standing beside him. Okay? So you don't necessarily need to be totally in front of your horse to actually be able for them to follow and know what you mean. Now the next lot of games are sort of purpose games. The purpose games basically start to put all the things I've done so far together. This next game is called the yo-yo game, and this is where I'm going to stand still, be the safety of the herd, where he's not going to get injured unless he's really unlucky. And if the horse is on the outside of the group or the herd, generally they get eaten first, they get the last of the food, last of the water. They also get moved around by everybody else, and they get a bit of a raw deal in life. And I'm saying to him at the moment, no, you just stay out there. You're not allowed in yet. You come in when I want you in. Okay? So just having a little bit of a think, a bit of a look and a cheer about that, and he's just realised there's a stump behind him. So there we go. That's listening horse. When you've got 2 ears on you, 2 eyes on you, That's a really, really good sign. When I decide, I'm going to ask him back in again. And I do that by relaxing my body. If I need to, I'm going to put a bit of tension on the rope. But he's pretty good at, doing that without the tension on the rope at all. Good. Now we're going to start to put the yo-yo game and the four-quarter yield together. So, you're a bit up close and personal, buddy. There you go. So the idea of the circle game is we're asking the horse to keep going in the direction we've asked them to go and keep going at the pace we've asked them to go as well. But it's teaching your horse to actually keep going until you give them another instruction. At the moment he's just wandering along, he's doing pretty well, but I may want to go a bit quicker. So all I need to do usually is just bring my hand forward, lift up my energy, and usually that's enough to just let your horse know what you want. When I want him to slow down, bring my arm back, and that's his cue to actually think about slowing down. Okay? Try just to trot again, so I just create a bit more energy. And as soon as he's trotting, then I just quit. I just leave him to it. Good boy. Now, when I bring him in, I don't pull on the rope. You might see the rope is still loose there. Now I'm just going to use my focus and use my body. Good. And that is where your hindquarter yield comes in. That's where you teach it separately first, and then you start to try and put things together. So we'll go the other way just for fun. Back up, buddy. Good boy. So this time we'll get him to trot a little bit quicker. There you go. Good boy. And sometimes, it's quite good just to have things scattered around. So they actually have to think about where they're putting their feet and how to avoid things sometimes. Now I'm going to relax again and relax my body. If I need to, just put a little wiggle on the rope, which is the yo-yo game. Good one. I'm going to shorten my rope a little so that I've got a feel on his head. He thinks that means go faster, and I'm just going to, because he's still very much learning this, not yet, then I'm going to give him credit for that. He's only done this maybe 3 or 4 times before today, so he's still pretty new at putting everything together. Look at his hip. Give him focus on that back end, which will bring the head around and bring him in. Now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to introduce sideways. So generally, sometimes it's a good thing to introduce sideways when they're walking along. Sideways, I'm just going to walk towards him, stop with the front end, and push his whole body over. Nice. And again, as I say, he's only maybe done this particular game about twice before today. So he's still learning this one. He's doing pretty well at it though. I'm going to stop the front end a little bit. And I'm going to push on his body. There you go. Good boy. And just to even him up, we're going to have a wee go on the other side. Bring him around. I'm just going to go in that direction. Good boy. Good boy. And this is always a forward movement. Okay, so again I'm just going to push on his body and ask him to cross the front and the back legs at the same time while still going in the forward motion. Good boy. Good boy. Now the last game I'm going to show you with him today, and then we'll move on to bash, is the squeeze game. So the squeeze game, horses actually don't like to go through tight places. Small spaces, it's easy for them to get trapped, easy for them to get killed. So, what we want to do, we don't want them to panic if we're going through a gate, or if we're going through a small space when we're with them. So we need to train our horse that actually going through a small space is actually okay. You know, it's actually not a bad thing, and it's actually all right. They're going to survive it and everything else. So I'm going to ask Ollie to go over this jump here, over these tyres, through the middle, and then turn and face the tyres, so that he can look at the object that he might be worried about. And so that he doesn't take off in a straight line, but actually learns to look and learns to think about stuff. I look at the back end and bring him around. Good boy. Then I want to back him off. Back up. Yes. No, wrong way. Wrong way. That's it. Good boy. And we'll take him over this way. Look at the back end, get him to look at where he's been, and then bring him towards me. Good boy. Okay, so that's how you start it all off, and that's kind of the basic version, if you like. And now what I'll do is I'll pop the saddle on Bash, saddle blanket on Bash, and we'll have a go at all of that without anything on Bash's head. Good boy. Here you go. Hello.